Rick, thanks. Our coverage continues here from the Omni Hotel in Indianapolis, the Wisconsin Team Hotel, and we are very pleased to be joined by a former Wisconsin Badger, a former Wisconsin assistant, Howard Moore. Howard, first of all, to see all these Wisconsin people here now, a second straight Final Four for this school, as someone who has worked at this school, who has played at this school, what does it mean to you?
It means a lot, Dave. You know, it's one of those feelings where, you know, the pride really boils up. You know, as a former player, you get the calls and the text messages from former teammates. Can you believe this? Isn't this great? The guys that played for the Badgers, excited and happy for Coach and happy for the program. So it's a prideful moment, but we're also hungry for a win. And if we can get 2 wins, that would be great for the program.
So, Howard, when you look at this team, their second consecutive trip to the Final Four, what do you think is the message that this team needs to hear to be ready for tomorrow?
Well, as you've seen many press conferences from Coach Ryan, he doesn't need a speech for this game. He knows the moment. He knows what this is all about. It's right now, and right now is a Kentucky team that beat us last year. But no matter who the opponent is, this is the semifinals of the national championship. So they're ready. It's an experienced team. They're poised, and they're ready for the moment.
Howard, and you played and coached at the university. You've seen the evolution of how this Wisconsin program has now put themselves on the map. At what point did you really start to see that evolution come together? I know when Bo came in, he started recruiting, but at what point did you see it?
Well, from a distance, when they won those back-to-back Big Ten championships, you saw a championship caliber approach, you know, to the way that they went into games, the way they compete, the way that they won. And then to do it again in 2003, it just really validated what Coach is doing, how he teaches, how he prepares, and the type of kids that help him win. And you guys know it. He has kids that are bought in and are sold to what he does. And being in that program for 5 years, I saw it firsthand. There's no magic potion. There's no secret remedy. It's just a matter of everyone being on the same page and Coach Ryan having the same principles from 1984 and actually before that, but we're talking about as a head coach.
Sure.
84 in Platteville, that's when Coach was able to establish himself as who he is today. Now, they might not play the same way they did in Platteville, but it's the same principles.
But let me ask you this too. Did that allow him now to recruit a different kind of athlete that he wasn't getting back then because of the success?
Well, I think, you know, the athletes change, you know, but the thing is the system hasn't changed. So he's been able to get good athletes. If you go to the Platteville teams, they've had tremendous athletes. You know, Sean Friesen, you know, guys out of Chicago, and PV out of Milwaukee. They've got great talent out of those areas. But now at Wisconsin, you know, it's a different type of player. Obviously, Orlando Tucker, Devin Harris. You know, I mean, those are tremendous players. Nigel Hayes, who reminds me of Danny Jones, if you remember. A little bit better now. You know, but he reminds me of Danny, you know, and that's the mold. But he's now, you know, allowed his jump shot to get further out in range, and his skill level has really improved over the past year.
Take yourself back to when you were an assistant and you're putting together the scout. You've watched Kentucky. You certainly know Wisconsin's personnel well. What would your advice be as far as how you attack this Kentucky team?
Well, defensively, which is always going to be the first thing you start with Coach Ryan. Defensively, you can't allow Towns and you know, and other kids to get deep touches in the post. You got to make sure that they fight and keep them off the block. You saw what Towns did down the stretch against Notre Dame. And if the Badgers were allowing him to sit on top of them, Frankie, you know, Nigel, those guys, we're in trouble. You know, because they're just monsters inside. But I like the way we match up on the front line. I think we match up pretty well. But the key is not allowing them to get easy touches and easy shots, and then keeping them off the glass, because we know how good they are offensive rebounding-wise, and not allowing them to get easy baskets inside. Make them a jump shot shooting team. As Coach always says, I want them to be limited to 2-point contested jump shots. No open threes and no easy shots in the paint. And then offensively, stay with what you've been doing. Move the ball, get inside touches, inside out, and let's hit some perimeter shots. I hope the same Sam Dekker that showed up against Arizona shows up tomorrow afternoon.
We all do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in this lobby who feel the exact same way. Howard Moore, thanks a lot for spending a few minutes with us. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend. Have fun.
All Wisconsin.
Let's go back to Chicago.